Welcome to NATCH WAFFEN Pilot with Penny Bradley. Today I have returning guest Sean Bond, who y'all already should know. He's been my friend, what was it, 2018, thereabouts? And we both have memories of being in a black op together, but we haven't compared notes, so I don't know if he remembers what I do. But yeah, I remember him, and that's what matters. So he's brought YssaH with us today, and they have been working on a project. And I'm going to give you a little bit of background. We were all at a conference last July. Um, I hope they had as good a time as I did. And there was this guy that had this table. He was selling stuff and showing off other things that were like on display. And his name was Gustavo. And he was part of a project that is doing archaeology at a pyramid site in Mexico. And these were some really impressive objects. I mean, really impressive objects. This is going to sound completely woo to those of you who are rational, but I could not touch those objects. The objects did not want me to touch them. So, with that context, I'm going to read YssaH's description she gave for herself. YssaH is a cosmic experiencer and a unified consciousness ambassador with the core mission to activate primordial codes and restore humanity's original blueprint through ancient wisdom and holofractal technology. From a young age, she communicated with various forms of consciousness, an ability that deepened with the birth of her daughter, Sufi. I hope I said that right.
Yeah.
This awakening led her to retrieve archaic knowledge embedded within the holofractographic universe, bridging science and spirituality. During her time in Egypt, YssaH began formally her journey as a decoder of highly evolved transmissions coming from the space memory network and which shape this reality from the holofractal field. Hence, using this information to design techniques which she currently facilitates to translate human source codes, cosmic fingerprint and key to one's own arc, to activate your plasma body at a level where you can easily restore your psionic, rejuvenation, and regeneration skills, thus access to infinite energy. Finally, to ignite your original luminous DNA by navigating the fabric of space-time, as well as configuring spatio-temporal constants by activating your dormant galactic genes connected to the stars. From a space of love and unity, supporting humanity in this path of remembrance. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you, Penny.
Honored to come. Thanks for having us.
Yes.
Hey, I have told you before, you are always welcome on my show.
Thank you.
So, yeah, it was funny. When we first met online, I gave him a really hard time. And he Sean being Sean, he just sort of shined me on. And I finally told him, look, if you wanted to be an admin in my group, you have to at least talk to me. So we got acquainted, and he told me some stuff that panned out, and so I let him be an admin. And we've been developing a collaboration since then. Uh, he's a good guy. I'm happy that you found each other.
Oh, thank you.
I wanted my friend to be happy. So, and I have Lou, so I'm off the market. I'm not,
Like,
I'm not, I'm not a threat to anybody out there, seriously. I'm happy with Lou. And when I've gone through I go through cycles of I'm really, really sick and have to be cared for. And he will do what it takes. And as I get better, he gives me the space to do what I'm able to, and he picks up the slack. And that's really a difficult skill.
Mm.
Um, it's hard to be doing something all the time and then have somebody come in and try to do it and can't finish it, and you have to pick up the slack. That's a really hard thing that I have been asking of him, and he's been a real trooper, and I really appreciate him.
Mm.
I wanted folks to know that. Um, but yeah, um, how did you get Gustavo to let you get involved in his project?
Well, as you said, we met him as well in the full now disclosure conference last year in Florida, and he's from Mexico. I was born in Mexico in this lifetime, so it was very easy for us to actually connect and feel love for meeting there and speaking about something similar. So then we stay connected after the conference. And it was mostly about tell us whenever you're going to come here and we can hang out. We can have a good time without, trying, yeah, just for the sake of sharing,
Yeah,
because he has experienced many things ever since he was little. He has an amazing story to tell himself. And well, then that happened. He came here to Mexico and he called me and it was like, hey, let's hang out. And we were just planning to go somewhere to see some artifacts, but neither him nor us knew that another friend, beautiful brother, also involved in this, would give us the opportunity to excavate the artifacts by ourselves. So then when we knew, it was like, wow, thank you. Thank you for that honor. So yeah, and that's how that happened. And Gustavo and this other friend Max, they are looking forward to bring all this information into human awareness. They not only talk with the consciousness of the artifacts, yet also with some of the species, some of the races that,
okay.
uh,
Stop a minute.
yeah, sure.
Okay. If I'm hearing you right, and from the other interviews you've done, I think I am, you are making connection with the beings that the artifacts are about. Are they different from the ones who made them?
yes, sometimes.
Yes,
Uh,
sometimes.
Three categories. One's made by ETs, which are most powerful. One's made by their offspring, usually genetically interactive or engineered for a plant, or interacting with the local species, hominoid. Third, made by hominids, some type of human that witnessed those beings and made the art or and artifacts based on what they saw and venerate them. And they're usually still quantum entangled with the being venerated. Just makes it easy. It's like at least the artifacts are like a business card to contact beings, and then they usually emit some rare energies, and even objects of just like pottery flakes will usually have some powerful aspect to them. Like in Japanese mythology, they say that if an object, an item has reached over 100 years old, it gains a soul or increases in consciousness. I'd agree with that, with the elemental makeup of it, because everything's conscious and tracking down to make a greater collective consciousness as it ages. And then it has unique things it emits. We'll go into that.
Okay. I just want to make sure we all understood what you were talking about. You can go ahead now.
Yes.
Did you want to
Yeah,
show just to like to have it that it keeps everyone that's skeptical involved? Can you bring up the video?
sure.
Can you allow us to share screen and then we'll
Oh,
bring
yeah, let me.
us digging it up.
Yeah, and as an intro before playing the video, because we have also people has asked us how we located the artifacts, even though we went
Yeah.
to a specific place where they are doing these excavations and even documentaries. How? Because this field is immense. It's not in the field, it's not in the same area next to or in the area of the pyramid. It's next to, close by, not even next to, it's close by. So how could we got to track those artifacts? We didn't have any metal detector devices, not anything. And that's one of the connections we have prior to even seeing the artifact, that the artifact starts to send emissions and we get, well, at least this is how one of the ways that I do it. I tune into the frequencies that the artifact is emitting
Uh,
because they have been waiting for us.
this is similar to what Americans call dowsing. People who use sticks to find water. They
Mm-hmm.
they
Mm-hmm.
go into the frequency of the water. There are people where I live in the Mother Lode in California. It's a historical area where they found gold in the 1850s. And there are people who use dowsing techniques to find gold here. So,
Yes.
so this is the same idea, it's just a different frequency.
Yeah, it's a different frequency. And for instance, it can also happen through visions,
Uh-huh.
like seeing the artifacts. Uh, Perhaps in my case, not precisely what it is, but it's showing to me exactly where it is, and at what layer of the earth.
That's
Because
important. That's important.
yeah, it's like
Whether it's 1 meter or 50 meters makes a big difference.
it does. It's like a lidar.
Yeah.
So, because of course, all those artifacts, all those tech devices, for me, they are based or inspired on our own capabilities. Because our capabilities as multidimensional beings are immense, as you know, our cosmic scale. I will start sharing screen.
Yeah, I gave permissions.
Thank you.
Can you see it?
Yes, I can see it.
The audio, though, okay, well,
Yeah, yeah, the audio matters.
Okay, so you see this ET with wings
Yeah.
and like a
Mhm.
lotus position. And you can also see these two on the side. This one's an ET. This one looks like the Canis Major, like Anubis higher dimensional species.
Who is that? Is that someone who's part of the program?
This is Sufi.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, your daughter. Okay.
Yes.
okay, so here's the Anubis, and you see the ET face real quick here.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this advances, it's a ceremonial ritual cup that I read into it. It amplifies evolution and changes DNA, and you become like a new self.
Now, when I first saw them, they looked remarkably like the beings from Peru that were presented to the Mexican Congress last year or the year before.
Yeah, the ones that he presented last year, those are from another spot, another
Mhm.
state, Pueblos. And when you mentioned that thing of your that the artifacts communicated you, I was tuning into them, and like those, as many one of like these ones are just one part of a whole circuitry. They're
That
meant to be
makes
put
sense.
together, and some of them create maps, and then those maps open portals or even lead to stargates. And there are very specific agreements of some of these races that once those artifacts are activated, the arcs of information that are pending at some point in the space-time fabric, and by this because they save them in very specific dimensions that they open or portals, they will come through those artifacts and expand in the field that level of consciousness, and of course then in the DNA and so forth. Yeah. And of course when it comes to interstellar maps, it's even more complex, you know.
I'm definitely seeing the Anubis canid on the one side.
Yeah.
Um, the thing that confuses me is the mummies that they brought forward didn't have the wings that are being shown.
Yeah.
So this is a new thing for those types of beings to have wings. This is new for me anyway.
Okay.
I
Well,
had
you will
always
see how.
I had always been told that the wings were symbolic for the fact they could fly when things came from the Middle East, but
Mm.
this isn't from the Middle East.
Well, it's not. However, it has a lot of influence, as you will see here in this obelisk. This was one of the pieces that was calling me, and that was there waiting for us. And you see that this is full, what we would call Egyptian,
Yeah,
like
it's
pharaoh.
very Egyptian.
Yes.
So a cool thing you might like is our friend that we were like, we never seen a being in hieroglyphics with just one eye, and he said, well, we found a few, and based on different things he looked up, he thought it might represent
Yeah,
Tiamat.
not exactly.
Just so you know.
Yes.
Um, okay, how do I stop sharing the screen and then we can reposition? Okay, can you go to your video for the
Yeah.
dig up of the obelisk?
Yes, sure.
Um,
So, yeah, and the obelisk, you see how it has this figure of this one-eye head figure, and it also has Anubis. Well, that race, Anubis race, and there
Okay,
is something very important here. because the dog, which is Anubis, not only is related to Sirius,
Yeah.
Canis Major and Minor. It's also it plays a very important role with the Mayan, because the Mayan would call the Xoloscuincle, which is a dog that continues to exist and has the very same face that Anubis. And that dog is supposed to go with all the people who transcend their humanity and walk them through all the way to the Xibalba, like in the case of Anubis with the Duat, walking people all the way to reach the Duat, which is the
Mhm.
relation to Orion.
There's a little jade or aventurine long skull ET playing a drum, which we'll show you because we have it here.
That's
Um,
Yeah. We were getting really involved, we were having such a good time. Sublime. Yes. It's hard to describe the feeling
here's
when
the
you
obelisk.
are bringing air that has been there for you don't know how many
Like birthing it, and it looks like a Nubis.
centuries,
Nubis here.
thousands of years.
Can you see this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So broke past ego boundaries, matrix layers, things that are like, oh, these, I've seen these objects before, but it's like, oh, there might be just fake, whatever. Uh, but now digging them up ourselves, just blasted that out. Uh, so here's the Nubis side. I'll try to pause it as he turns it.
Then you have auras.
Yeah, so Horus is right here, or like whatever Falcon being, because I've
Yes.
seen there's people of the same species.
Avian.
Tiamat looking being, and then ET with one of those beard straps and the pharaoh head, and a
Oh,
handbag.
when Tiamat appeared to me, she took the form of Cecily Tyson, the actress. They have the same attitude,
Mm.
spunky and take no shit.
Uh, you know what? Now that I'm seeing this, the Mayan also talk about these four beings that were the ones holding for the sky not to crash into the earth
Okay,
before
like
before
Atlas does.
and like Shu does in between Nut and Geb, and but that they were removed for before the cataclysm, the last before the flood. So
Yeah,
then they moved underground, those four beings, and they related to something to other consciousness, not different. But we know how the four also works through algorithms and encoded messages. They related to a turtle, to a snail, to a spider or a bee, and yeah, to them they related.
This is us doing the ceremony before digging. Very important. We've gone into this before that we arrived. I was reading a whole bunch of beings, around and tangled with the objects, and they were very skeptical. They didn't really like anyone, didn't trust anyone. So I was like, oh, what do we got to do to get them to like me? I was looking for all the things that in the timeline that would get them to like me, and worked out. They once they got what they wanted, they let us know and uncovered through camouflage a bunch of objects there, and then we started pointing to where they would be. And yeah, after doing ceremony, being very sacred and respectful, and getting
yeah.
out of ego and all that.
You
Yeah, the
have to be
first object
respectful of
that
the
we
spirit.
pointed to. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. The first object that I pointed to ended up being this pyramid, and we just dug a bit down because it was fairly deep. But we found a few objects before that too, which we'll show as well. Um, it's amazing. And then she pointed someone's out, and then she found the obelisk and found the disc that looked like it had a UFO on it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was amazing.
Yeah. And there are still, they continue to be things there. The thing is that we arrived already at 1 p.m. They normally arrive at 9 a.m. And they were also very surprised for the amount of objects of artifacts of that were opened
We had the same friend.
to be received by us. Yeah, it was beautiful, a beautiful alchemy. And I must say that of course, it was the communion of all of our energies, you know. I also like honoring the beautiful guardians that allow us received us in that space, our friends, my daughter, ourselves, everything, the beings, of course, that allowed this. The ceremony is the tangible expression when you're unifying the field, when you're becoming one with the field from a space of gratitude and humbleness. So, and the heart, you know, because that shell that he was blowing is the shape of the heart vortex. So here in Mexico, it's very important for the indigenous tribes to actually um, always connect with the heart as much as you can, you know? And why? Because here in this area, you know, if, as we call the chakras of the air and so forth, when it comes to Mexico, they call it the ancient, the wise man, or the wise old man that comes from the space of the heart. So it's like you're tuning into the frequency. Like each country has a very specific keynote, therefore a frequency. Then when you're playing from the heart frequency, which is around the solfeggio of the 528 hertz, then you are opening gateways with the very same frequency that was used to anchor them. So
Yeah,
So
and here's a
seeing Naga with wings, I'm seeing uh
And just so you know, it could be serpentine, it could be, they're a physical body, but it's shown the same species with regular feet, like
yeah,
here. So a lot of these seem to point to a spiritual form, like ghosts, like tails, whatever. Uh, so there's the
En-
horse-like being. This is a crystal skull, held by.
Enki was portrayed in the very ancients as a Naga form with two serpents as legs.
yes, you will. We have one like that. Actually, we have a tablet like that. We didn't the excavated it, but they showed it to us, and it is a bird figure which legs are becoming into a serpent, and
Yeah,
then the very same serpent is fulfilling the cycle by biting, well, um, put it like biting his skull, you know?
Here's a mer person with like type of tentacle beard of some type as
that
well. This
that
this one,
looks like Cthulhu from Loveless.
Yeah, and something also to point out how we know that those serpentine half body figures that you were looking at first, how it's more related to that etheric form
Oh,
and founders actually for other races that then
this one.
breeded into other species like the genes because they are very good at details. If they want to point out to a fishtail, they will put the fins. If they want to point out to a serpent tail, they will also put the pattern of the skin of the snake's
Yeah.
skin. So this is pointing out to us an etheric uh, version.
this is very similar. There was a drought in India, and in the river, there in the riverbed with the drought, the water dropped enough that there were forms very similar to that in the river, except they only had
Mm.
one point pointy thing, so they looked more like the turret from a tank, or you know,
Mm.
something like the Millennial Falcon where it's aimed in one direction. So this was very interesting to me.
Yeah,
What
this
do you
we
think?
found this under roots, so it was very like, wow, this is you can't just implant this. We had to like break through roots with machete and stuff to get to uh UFO on this top, and then another ET with similar things as this guy
Yes,
going
exactly.
on, with his the beard
As
on the
tentacles.
under.
And that's your standard star compass that we still use on maps today.
True, true.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the younger people don't know what a map is. I'm sorry.
So
Oh,
what do you think of these handbags? And this is in cuneiform. And so the different we found Egyptian hieroglyphs and cuneiform. So it seems to transcend Egypt and the you know Mesopotamia to where
when
they touch down in Mexico.
I
Yes.
was abducted by the Shahami in 2018, they had a device that had that basic shape but without the artwork on it. And they used it like we would use a thumb drive into their computer. So these may be representing storage devices.
I agree. I read there's a big spirit in this. So so there's uh,
Yeah.
you know
And
carries.
if it's like you said, if it's sat there for 100 years or longer, it's developing its own consciousness.
Yes.
So yeah, take a look at this
I
one.
used that one turned
Mm,
as the background for our cover for this video.
nice, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know how to turn it, unfortunately, but yeah, you can see this venerated figure that is a nice headpiece, a footed being, a spirited being with wings, Anubis with wings, kind of thing,
Uh-huh.
like without wings guy, a little, octopus looking guy there. Tree of Life of Corn, Obsidian Mirror, UFO, Spirit coming to a planet that could be Saturn or another planet with rings. And since there's
No,
a whole bunch of other
Earth
planets
has
around too,
rings. Earth has a ring.
right? Yeah. So it
Yeah.
could be a bunch of things. And then there's a bunch of other planets around and orbs, and they're both all manipulating and interacting with genetics.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
there's little symbols around.
Yes.
Well,
And
there had to be some way that we got corn from uh
yeah.
probably going to mispronounce it. Teosinte, the original grain form. It was like this long and was covered with stuff and was more like oats than corn.
Hmm.
There
Hmm.
had to be some way we went from that to corn, because we sure didn't find corn on the cob.
Well, and I must point out that in comparison to Egypt, in Egypt you will see in the hieroglyphs Tot or Tehuti
Uh,
and Ptah handling the tree of life, therefore the genetic blueprint or the genetic arc. However, they don't put Anubis in this, like doing this.
yeah,
So
they have Anubis embalming people who are dead and
yes,
escorting them to
that's what.
the what?
Yes, but here Anubis is constantly related and involved with the DNA as well as this elongated skull, winged, mostly winged when they are doing the DNA, when they are mostly when they are manipulating DNA, they are winged. Not in all of them, but in most of them. So, yes, you can see how this is a recurrent pattern. You know, DNA, the Eye of Horus, what is known as the Eye of Horus or the all-seeing eye, elongated skull winged beings, or with etheric trail.
Back
And
to that a minute because I want to point something out. Back up. Okay. You have the one guy at the bottom right
yeah,
with no wings.
yes, yes.
The guy to his left
He's
has
holding,
3 pair of wings. The guy above him, the spirit form, has 3 pair of wings. And then on the upper left, the spirit being has 2 pair of wings. Now, one of the things that I've noticed in my time astral is that the number of pairs of wings denotes your status.
I agree.
yeah, yeah, me too. And you know what? Also, the number of horns in the case of the Sumerians and Babylonians, where they are using the helmet with different numbers of horns, also that.
Yes, the number of pairs of horns on their
Yes,
I think those denoted their communication devices, and I don't understand why there would be more of them if that's all they were.
Mm.
because of precisely their title, you know, like the higher the title, the more access that they would have. That's what I remember.
Okay,
Right.
that makes sense.
So here's
And
a ET looking
this
fairy.
this guy, he has that elongated like oxygen and like an oxygen tube that astronauts wear.
Like the others, for sure. This might be that. It might, though, be one of those chin straps in Egypt that they
Yes.
have.
Are
Because
you
this
sure
might be the mouth,
Mhm.
is it are you sure those chin straps in Egypt were not a memory of?
right?
Yeah.
And if you look in the very ancient, sorry, if you look in the very ancient stuff from India, sorry, I'm talking too much. Um, the early depictions of Ganesh look very much like that.
Yes. There are a lot of similarities. You think we can ask her if she wants to stop it for her call?
Yeah, she should. So
Yeah, no, like it's not to overload your throat. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
if
just
you want.
going to take a minute and use my throat spray.
Yeah, we don't want you to overload your throat. If
Yeah.
at some point you want to do a part two,
Hi. Um,
there.
I have the voice back, I think.
Yeah, there's a bunch of hieroglyphs that appear in Egypt around this, and yeah, so like I probably some authority. This might be Tiamat, could be someone else. because there's like various um,
Mm.
what is the gender, because it could be feminine if you know mother of all monsters, but this could be a species related or some other being, or it could be showing itself in a holographic form, coming down as a
That,
big eye.
that looks like male Egyptian to me.
Yes. Well, the thing is that they knew the importance of the eye. The eye itself shows everything. That's why it's everywhere. It's the black hole. Like literally, for instance, when you do a thermal scan, your
Um,
body glows except for your eyes, due to the
um,
holes.
there is a tribe in Southern California. They're um, they're in an area close to Catalina Island, but they're on the mainland. They used to also be on Catalina. That was their like holy place. And they worshiped or honored a deity, the name of which translates as faceless.
Hmm.
And this being, even though it had no face, no eyes that you could see anything and everything. And
Hmm.
Walter Bosley has done a series of books that he calls the Inland, the Empire of the Wheel, and it's about the Riverside San Bernardino area. But he reaches out into Catalina area because with the ley lines, it's included. Um, what's really interesting is that the ley line boundary for the area forms a corner, actually a cross right above my house.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Well, another thing is that
Go ahead.
that, for instance, the all-seeing eye in terms of astronomy was related at that moment to Draco and specifically the star of Thuban. Even the Great Pyramid is aligned on one side to Thuban and on the other side to Sirius. So that's also another relation.
Tell a story of the interaction of the genetic hybridization between multiple stuff.
Thuban is the capital of the Draconian Empire.
Here's a tablet that has the avian. Like if you ever seen the show Moon Knight, it kind of like goes with.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, you want to see it. It's talking about gods incarnated as humans and taking over uh, people in an altar that makes them a super soldier uh, with Egyptian
Wow.
gods. Yeah, so this one, like in Moon Knight, the moon god, what's his name?
Well, in that
Khonshu, Khonshu,
Honsu,
Khonshu,
Honsu.
yeah, Khonshu, Khonshu. He takes the form of like a skeletized bird ahead. So it's like interesting with probably I'm reading this being as a fourth dimensional being of some type that has high magic and authority. And you can see the serpent coming out as its right foot and then
Yeah.
circling back to the back of the head, kind of like with the reptoid brain, avian brain in front. So there's symbology, there's some interaction with magic, a mystery school, and a being above certain beings, as well as having this interesting object here. I'm not sure, quite
Well,
sure what it
it's
is.
it's the arm of the alien that it's there.
So it overcome and conquered these beings. Interesting.
It's interesting. He has an eye over his heart chakra.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, it's
And
like
and
the
I have
main,
mine and I have mine as well. You see?
the mani, which like our money is based off the word mani in the heart.
Yeah, but for me, like from approaching to that, and from the quantum physics field, all form of life starts in a black hole, and the eye represents also the primordial black hole. So that's
Makes sense.
that's what they were pointing out to, the origin of everything, because also it all comes through perception, which
Yeah.
is
Now, so many cultures talk about the avian and the serpent people,
Yes.
and
The two,
combination.
the two tribes
Yeah,
that are in competition.
the merging with the Anunnaki. Here's the
the other
underside,
side.
the other side of that compass UFO thing. And so ET
That's
phase,
almost that's like incredibly close to the stonework that was in that river in India.
Beautiful. Well,
Uh,
this was a very special rock, actually, because it was not jade. It's a fusion of different rocks, because it had black as well as many of the materials that are used for these artifacts. They are
manufactured.
molecularly compressed minerals that create a very specific superconductor effect.
what kind of stone works could
Yes.
do this, not everyone. Here's the pyramid we're going to show you, which is also right here. We'll show you the more of it. Zoom in. Okay, whatever. I'll just show them on screen, the ends of it. Um, here's the ceremonial, like a staff. It also looks like you could scoop out somebody's heart with it.
Definitely not used for that. No traces of blood.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, it does.
Okay. Then yeah, we'll show you some of the objects now. So yeah, go ahead and start with your little guy. We'll go through the little guys and we'll go to the pyramid.
So they've been cleaned now.
Some,
Not fully,
we're more interested in spiritually cleaning them so they can turn on.
but this was next to the obelisk.
Oh.
And
For the faith.
oh, I'm sorry.
Smiling face.
It's
Oh,
happy,
smiling.
and it has uh this is what Sean was referring to as a drum,
Or a
you
hamburger.
know.
Yeah,
And
it does look like a drum.
and he has very humanoid body features,
Uh-huh.
except of course for the skull. So what I have tuned into is a hybrid of human with Syrian. And because this type of elongated skull, you will see it also in the pyramid. It's a very precise one, which is compacted from this part and then elongated from this part, which is different from the ones that we saw the winged ones. The winged ones are even like the depictions how they show the Mayan, and even very Egyptian as well. But this one is also like a little bit compressed and then elongated here. His ears are very quite elongated as well. And also
Yeah, it looks like
his
elf ears.
eyes. Yeah.
So it might be like some say that Homo capensis have like interactions with elongated skull. But
Some of
there's
them do.
and then with
As
the
well as the
ones in practice
Denisova.
through, yeah.
The
Yeah.
ones that are most pure blood do have the elongated skulls. They also have the inbreeding problems.
Yes. You can see a lot of people in Egypt still with kind of the traces of elongated skulls. They're just not aware of that connection. But I have a
Um,
lot of friends, and even funnily enough, in some of my pictures there, it's like that mist of my head looking even elongated. But this, what I have been tuning into this beautiful being, the consciousness of this beautiful being, is that he does a lot of, he shares a lot of knowledge on brain tech, and also in interdimensional travel tech. Um, Once he opens, he actually like his field, he can give huge upgrades of how to handle the DNA, to coil or to supercoil the DNA, or to harness the vital force, also known as Kundalini, to supercoil it, and mainly in the brain, and therefore also do very specific connections of that very same tech in the space memory network, which is mostly known as the space-time fabric. So he has a lot of, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Uh, yeah.
You started
So
talking and forgot you were holding.
it became shy. Yeah. Okay.
It's
So yeah.
okay. We all do this, don't we?
Yeah.
Very human thing.
Yes.
So that one has a bunch of stuff, including when we, you know, connect back to the collective consciousness of the being. Would say this is formed by a human, saw the being, venerated it. It's got longevity. The being has longevity tech. It emits spatial invisibility and a rare type of gut brain shield. Also has energy manipulation and spatial connection and ability between two places and other spatial tech. We're trying to learn everything else about it. Not allowed to say everything about the species, but
Yeah,
there's
I
4,000 types of
get that.
gray and long skull kind of things. Um,
Hmm.
this I will actually just show a video real
Some of
quick.
these, some of these guys just don't want to be talked about.
Uh,
Yes.
yeah, we got to make them feel safe. So some of these artifacts glow when you give UV light to them.
Wow. Not all over either, just the patterns. Well, maybe they do if they get enough of it.
Hmm.
Yeah, so there's like theories to this. It can glow from the sun, but it doesn't seem to take as easily as full UV light.
No, he
Uh,
was saying that if you put it, but I'm sorry, but he said it in Spanish, but he was saying that once he left at the sunlight, the artifacts, and it stayed for 3 hours.
oh wow! So you can just charge up with sunlight. That's awesome.
Yes.
Okay, that's different than what the other guy said. So there's also besides the sun charging them up, and then them have that ability. The other guy had a theory that some of these ancient beings would emit brilliant light when they'd appear to people, and so he has a theory that the objects, when they appear, they make all these objects around them glow, and then or they glow even before they'd appear, and that might like indicate some things. As some of the objects are indicators of earthquake and some interactions with the calendar as well. So here's one of the little guys
There,
that glows.
there are people who have physical symptoms of being hybrids, and some of them will glow in the dark.
Hmm. Yes. Well, you know, I'm quite sure that this has happened to you, that sometimes you're looking at yourself in the mirror and then you close your eyes a bit and then you see your body, your spectrum glowing and the rest black, because actually that's also the plasma that we are emitting from our bodies, However, it's not that evident sometimes.
Well, my friend Michael Lee Hill, when I met him at a conference, he was just doing his thing. And then later, when I hunted him down to talk to him, he was sitting in a back corner of the bar and it was very dark. And he was sitting there just glowing in the dark.
Hmm.
This this perfectly happy little light source in the back, drinking a beer, happy.
Beautiful.
And it was startling because I'd never seen a human do that before.
Mm.
So
So this little guy glows. And I believe this was made by a human, though venerating a being that they are seeing, a very powerful being. Emits a lot of cool stuff right now. It's emitting and teleportation energy. So and goes back to the collective consciousness of the being that represents. It also has God level.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
If
Yeah.
you speak, perhaps you need to speak to the speaker.
Got God body superpowers of different types, emotion, radio-based telepathy, longevity, plasma body, teleportation, generated energy, types of initiation manipulation, an ancient type of pre-source, like ancient pre-universes and stuff, gut brain energy used as a computer, access to the hologram, etheric energy, creation and manipulation, mana, magic, creation and control. A cool ability I didn't know existed, which is out of phase storage. You can put you can put objects into out of phase storage in this field. Interdimensional resonance travel to locate themselves somewhere else, similar to bilocating, and a bunch of like spatial place connection, emits mental energy, and is turning on more stuff. They are a type of gray that is neutral, positive, interacting with humans, time travel, over 4,000 types of gray, neutral, positive, negative, all kinds of things. And a lot of them are like 50% of them are far away space traveling, different colonies. And so a lot of them have fertility issues because they disconnected from the original planet and then go into cloning. So this one has long extension of life, but also they're trying to resolve the fertility issues and blocks to certain things that they're holding that they added their genetics to the Earth game here in the human experiment and see us like a garden that if they help and to thrive, they're solving their species problems as well. So there's a little nice little guy for that. Um, this one is a different gray species,
Yeah.
long skull. Initially, I was like, I gotta be careful with this guy. He looks kind of mean, but I was like, it's not that mean, and it would give more indication in the energy based on what his capabilities are. If he was negative, it looks like an athame, which non-blood interaction knife because it loses power, open doorways, portals, cut cords, all kinds. You can resolve predators as well. There's an eye and a pyramid and signs of wind. So interaction with influence of energy and some cool head symbols there. What this guy is good at is right now it emits reality bubble magic, and more will turn on later as we get it more healed up and empowered. It also got a rare ability in liver chi shield. So like the liver can emit a chi energy field that uh, doubles as a shield around the being and can go into protection.
That's
DNA library of high access to influence. It tries to integrate to the conscious mind, though there's a lot of blocks in humanity to amplify knowingness for of a library that includes like 18 galaxies worth of knowledge, and then it has a type of dragon reality interaction aspect of self upgrade. So its species has its own type of dragons like elemental programmers and reality creators and there's so many different species, many worlds, many stars that they come from. They don't need a body, so they have their own dragon kind of magic.
Yes. For instance, you will see like repeatedly a circle inside a pyramid, which if we go now to alchemy, it's quite related to what we would say ether, not completely, but here it's showing that plasma, that is used to fill in the pyramid besides the eye being, because then it's opening this huge portal. I can see in like from 3D perspective how the eye is in the background and it's sucking in through the third eye and then propelling it through the power of the mountain, the mountain, yeah, the pyramid, all the way up, which is very interesting. If you harness how to bend the energy in this way and using this, actually you can remove many energies that could be attached to you and heal your field for them to come back. This is a super powerful device. It might be small, yet it brings a lot of power and a lot of wisdom on how to use it.
Size is not always what matters.
And for
Mhm.
those out there that want to connect to like ETs at a greater level, but it's, these are rare things that we're doing and like trips that we're forming to where you can interact with archaeological sites like this. I'd recommend looking up circle stones, which are like these kind of flint that you can find in especially Scotland, Ireland, England areas. They're found in the crop circles, and you can connect to the ET and the ship, which sometimes has consciousness, and interact and trade with it. This one has a bunch of teleportation and levitation tech, which is what I was like tuning into. It's the most powerful stone if you want to integrate into that mystery school. Not all the circle stone has that type of, at least have some type of having to do with ET or the Tuatha De Danann,
You need to stay closer to the mic.
Tuatha De Danann
Yeah, or
elfish race, because a lot of the UFOs doing crop circles are in the Tuatha De Danann species in the Earth or from other realms. So there, we also got clay from earlier ages that we found in the area. This one of a, you want to go and check
it's
on it?
Wow.
which is the ancient one or the old one, and it's a deity which the Aztecs would relate to the fire, to the old fire, which is very important. And we can see that she has like a headdress with donuts. Let's say there are also like these Tauruses, these donuts, and there are a lot of depictions of the gods, what they would relate as these divine natures of something. Like for instance, Tlaloc, which is the 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 divine nature of water, and he would have these donuts around his eyes, just like this. So they are continuously the fundamental forms of physics in the head a lot, more than in the rest of the body. They represent it a lot in the head, in the face.
So when interacting with this one for your audience, which a lot of these objects are willing to do trade because we got them to a high spiritual level and gotten rid of predators off them. This one is a divine feminine energy and amplifies knowledge and intuition. So you can trade with her with that. Well, we found this one possibly looks like a serpent of some type head or a dragon or whatever, we want to go into maybe a panther or jaguar. And with what we know from the energy, it has rainmaker energy ability emission. So you can trade with this one to amplify your ability to summon rain.
Also a turtle.
It could be
It's the
turtle.
face of a turtle. Yes.
And then there's this clay cup, which we don't know everything about it, but it seems to have a
It's a jaguar warrior,
jaguar warrior
Yeah, a jaguar warrior and the dead,
and the dead skull.
which have been used for initiations, of the Jaguar warriors, because they would go through very sacred initiations, where there are mainly tests and practices from them to prove that their multidimensional body was already active enough for them to relate with it.
So I'm,
Uh,
you want to finish?
yeah, to relate with it at the level of awareness.
There are stories about various warrior groups in uh, Europe that did similar things. The Germanic tribes had similar rituals that they did. Uh, they would end up with, today we call them berserkers, but they would be in a altered consciousness to go into battle, and they would be absolutely fearless, and they didn't take a lot of casualties either.
Hmm. Well, it reminds me of the testing LSD with the soldiers,
Yeah.
So, this cup, for those that want to interact with it, seems to go with ceremonies, probably plant medicine of some type ceremony, could be psychedelics. I read it's emitting chi, the upgrades for chi permeance, which permeance allows you to change your rotation of your atoms so that things and energy coming at you can't stick or attach, as well as it could, if you got it in high levels, you could pass through walls. But this is chi permeance and chi healing that it amplifies. Currently, it's emitting. As it upgrades, it will probably produce more types of chi abilities. Then we can move to the obelisk, which we got here. Um, all that seems to have a planet of some type, a spirit body coming out of, upside down triangle. Uh, Sun shining, reeds.
Here there is a big trace of crystal, well, several ones, which shows to us how they were compact limestone with more crystals and other type of crystals to compress the molecular structure of water and for them to be really compact and stronger.
This one glows in the dark too. And that's not associated with the FBI's version of things. It's a pyramid.
They inspired. It's the same.
Um, and then we got a winged version of the ET being and what looks like a ringed planet. And this one interacts with the portal we have. So it's mostly interaction with physical portal window tech. And this obelisk and the portal are the oldest one we have, and they seem to be made by ETs as opposed to more of the other objects.
Yeah, as we know, the obelisk tech would create a wave distribution that would create an impact on the superconductors such as water that were around the area to generate a very specific imprint. So perhaps even the very same water.
Yeah. So, well, kind of
the very same water that
it's a heavy pyramid, so we're kind of doing this for you.
the very same water that was up next to those obelisks was enhancing the functioning and the manifestation of the portal itself.
This pyramid, it appears to be made by the second category, which is ET hybrid offspring. Probably not reading the later generations that interacted and bred with humans, but ones that were made to interact on the surface of the planet. So that might be the same look, but a lot of them also have that breathing apparatus or trunk kind of or beard kind of thing going on. There's multiple theories, And this lovely, awesome thing that called us, that was like the first object that wanted to come with us. Under the pyramid capstone, which is shining light and third eye. It has two rings of an unknown type of metal alloyed. Some have said bronze, copper, but it doesn't look like it has the same thing. Some even suggested orichalcum, which is that Atlanteus stone that's
Yeah,
hard to make. And it's
that's
got a
what I was wondering if it was.
Composition.
That's an interesting design on it. It looks like something's head,
yeah,
side view.
third eye.
Talking also mastery and
So was
interdimensional.
this a wedding ring set, or was
Yeah, it
this,
might be. Wicked.
or
It could.
was this, you have to have both keys to destroy?
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, because it's using
Self-destruct
ring.
sequence requires two.
So this pyramid has we're mostly camouflaged, this pyramid, so we're still spiritually clearing it and depossessing and making it so that it's all nice and feeling safe so it can generate tons of energy. Not everything is been allowed to show to us, but the
Yeah,
rings seem to allow the user to connect to it from a distance. It's a
Yes.
its own place of power. It has the power as if it is a giant pyramid into itself, so it's compressed. So as powerful as a regular pyramid, has generators. Oh yeah, has generators in it for various types of energy.
maybe it's my eyes, but it seems to be changing colors.
It could
Yeah,
be.
that's the thing. I could even see other kind of minerals in it. And it has something inside.
Have you been able to open it at all?
We don't want to.
No.
It's like super
Yeah.
beautiful as it is, but it's super heavy. But there's little holes in it you can see that go in, so it looks like there's space in it.
Yeah. Patterns of this triangle symbol that is the triangle behind.
We'll switch it around.
Yeah.
So you can see the sides. So the rings allow you to connect the users connect from a distance and empower themselves. A lot of genetic interaction upgrades. It has a star in it that is the bilocated connection to a actual star. The star that it interacts with seems I've tracked back to the Horn of Taurus, Alnath, which barely anyone talks about. So I don't really know if there's a mythos in that.
If you look at Damon, I have a playlist on YouTube if they haven't deleted it yet, uh, about a whole series of videos that tracks back to the horns of Taurus. I
Oh,
can I can add the link to when I upload this, or I can send it to you, the link in Messenger. It's
Yeah.
15 hours, but he makes it an excellent case.
right.
Wow.
It also has a small spiritual stargate to it, used in communication and energy transfer. It has a creational factory, which is rare. Brings creations down from seventh dimension to third dimension. And the rest is camouflage. So I will be coming out with more info on what else it does. But here,
That's almost Atlas figure in the center bottom,
yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's holding
holding
this
up
knowledge,
that part of the.
like it's holding this knowledge, the communion, and it's a trinity. You can see that we have the mummy, which would represent the transcendence. Then we have like a younger figure, but also more mature. and this would be like the youngest, with all that strength, holding that, because it is somehow like also the interaction in between the protons, the interaction within the atom, having like
Uh-huh.
the electron, the proton, and the neutron, and then this being the space that holds and binds it all together, in perfect coherence. And here, see this older figure. It's like three elders, but just at different stages. Well, this is not that elder, but like these three pillars, to say it somehow. And this is holding a scepter, a was, which is the one that the scepter that was used in Egypt to show the mastery on energy. They would say the serpent because actually it's to tame serpents, but we know that they were pointing out to energy. So then it's harnessing the energy. Here we have the plasma orb. Here we have the field of the boundary, and also here we have the all-seeing eye, the perception, we have more energy, and we have the vessel looking downwards, which is the manifestation, is expression. So I would connect this, what happens in higher realms and what it gets to be seen as well. There are many ways besides also the Trinity, because this part is super rich. The other part is, like super simple. So, like the abstract world where everything comes together and manifests here, in this also another one Trinity. But when Sean was saying about the money,
Talk to the mic.
uh, okay, this pyramid is super powerful for manifestation, like as Sean was saying, from the seventh dimension, which is actually somehow related to this. The core that is inside of it is active when the rings are used in a very specific form, and then this ignites. But it doesn't only ignites within the pyramid, it also ignites within the brain, and the opening up the capability to go beyond the perception, limited perception within the incubation state, and actually accessing to the accessing to the quantum field, and to even, let's say, retrocausal teleportation protocol, and many, many more things. Here it says everything. This is also a spell. It's here is the mouth, and if you mention some of these frequencies, then the spell is activated.
Well, I'm looking at the symbols themselves, and they look like linear B mixed with some Egyptian hieroglyphs and some cuneiform. It's an interesting mix.
Yeah.
If
Yes.
you can decipher that, that would be incredible.
Well, yeah.
So that, and then guy here. One guy seems to be kind of bound as if he's dead or mummified. Um, of him.
Yeah, again, we have one, we have a younger one, which is actually even more like a feminine figure. And then we have the youngest one, you know, it's more bonding with this one. This is also a way that they present the feminine and the masculine, at some point in other depictions in Egypt. But
The one that your finger was on is more like how the women dressed
yes,
in Egypt,
exactly.
and the one standing is more like how the men dressed.
Yes, this is why I was saying you will see many depictions in Egypt where the man is standing up and then the woman is, being uh, held, and also she's holding the space for the male figure. Depending on the period.
Talk to the mic.
I'm sorry, what?
Talk to the mic.
Oh, yes. Depending on the period, depending on the period. And of course on the king, because some kings are equally representing the feminine, and some of them are playing with the way how they represent them. But he's very caring, it's like actually very caring, and in a very you can feel the frequency of their connection. And this one is, like just behind them, holding the space, but they are doing a very interesting, they are showing the same story in these three. Oh yes, it's connected to also to a portal to the Duat. This telling a story, I right now I cannot say more, but yeah, story, and it's that interaction in between these two beings, the female and the masculine, that are holding the rings. Which is the completion, and they have their hands together, and with creating this energetic field, the transmission of this, which actually in a from a holographic field, it is spinning. It's rotating counterclockwise and clockwise, and opening this toroidal field all the way into this communion. And yeah, it has cuneiform. And then it has this planet with rings and stars. And again, Trinity, 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 Trinity. So each one of these triangles are creating a vibration, an algorithmic vibration based on their numerical values. So for instance, it has 12 here, and it pulses as keynotes number. So yeah, it's about knowing how.
Well, can you put the camera up?
Very heavy.
I bet. It looks heavy.
What's right in here?
These are the older.
Yeah, this is the oldest one we have. This is giving off the energy that was made by an ET. So whatever that means. Let's see if I can go back so it's more in frame. So we have like ET here, long head. All the ETs are holding the portal. You point them out. Here's another one.
Elongated. Not on
Cool.
there.
Wings, arm, planet.
Yeah, here it is. Touching them with one bodies. And again, you can see it.
Talk to the mic. I can't hear you.
You can see big traces of crystal here compressed with the
This glows in the
with
dark.
the limestone. It glows in the dark, so it has another mineral. It can sparkle actually just by looking at it. Limestone does. So it has at least the community of five materials, I would say, five minerals, and it has reddish which is also very interesting because normally they are very like sandy color, not red. They would attribute the red by the time where they would use powdered mercury, to taint the 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 rocks, and due to the porosity of the limestone, it would be easy for it to keep that mercury, that powdered mercury, cinnabar on it, within it. And we see the garments here that very Sumerian-like,
Yeah.
and here inside of the ark, it has what we would call even runes and also other kind of beliefs, Sumerian, cuneiform, some of them, and Egyptian as well. So it's talking to us about a stage where there was a huge correlation and communion in the usage of their 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 writing. They were using the same before the division and the separation of the different languages. They were using one.
This species seems to be different than the other ones we have, including the one on the pyramid. A longer skull. It seems to be connected to that one that had the maze, and the black obsidian in the center. That seems like the same species. Let's see if we can. Think you can. Yeah, you can't really see the ruins from that angle. Yeah, neither. So at the bottom,
When you
sure. And yeah, some more beings.
Yeah, you
Again,
can,
being.
it's hard to see the carving in it. Uh, you can see, I can see parts of it. The longer I look, the more pops out.
We'll see what we can do about that. We'll just take photos of yourself. But you can see Saturn or Saturn-like planet here, UFO, a long skull being touching it. Another being there.
Yeah, I can see the eye.
the Aztec,
Yeah.
of course they're not.
And I can't hear her at all.
Of course they are not feathers.
She's too far from the mic.
Can you hear me now?
Barely.
Weird.
Okay.
Next to it.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
This being has kind of the address that the Aztecs and Mexica Nahuatl would use. Of course, these are not feathers. This is showing something else. But the inspiration of that headdress, we can see where it comes from.
Yeah.
And yeah, they are as well holding the portal. And here you can see. Oh,
Can't hear you.
Spaceship.
Spaceship. And yeah, it's very, very ornate, interesting, and very obviously ET.
yes, indeed.
I'm looking at this hexagram.
Seems to connect to at least 14 places in the solar system that have to do with colonies or whatever held spaces by the beings here.
Yeah,
This could act like eventually, it has enough tech in it where it could act like an actual window portal. But it's been dormant, and it's probably going to be the hardest for us to make very powerfully, spiritually sacred, because there's a lot of things coming at portals that want to steal portals.
yeah.
Yeah,
Portals can be real dangerous.
and this has a very powerful, very, very powerful frequency. Um, it is connected, yes, to many things. Many of those things are not yet to be connected before cleansing a
Yeah.
lot.
Um,
So, and
what
even
I
opening that to the public, well,
what I noticed is when you moved it closer to your laptop, I lost your sound entirely.
Yeah, some of these objects emit a
So
large amount of frequency.
it's definitely emitting because it was blocking your voice being picked up. Sean could be heard because he's talking through the hole.
Uh,
yes.
our friend Mike put different scanners, electromagnetic frequency devices, sensors near it. These different objects, they all emit different types of frequency, but they go off heavy when, so this, yeah.
Yeah, we did another show with Ida and Brian, and actually Sean and I were doing this, like both of us going through the
Yeah,
through
you'd
the hall,
have to both of you
and
be heard.
no, and after that, I was so out of the body. I was like, oh,
I'm getting spacey just being connected.
You're
Yeah.
gonna go out, a little out of body by locating somewhere. Just a warning to the audience. But yeah, it seems not to be bad. It's like all 14 different planets, so many different options to where you'd go. The places, if you end up bilocating, will probably have to do with you, who you are, and what authority you have, and what
Oh,
is
goody.
interest.
Who I am, where I've been, what I've done. Yes.
Hmm.
Some of those things I would just as soon forget. It, it is what it is.
So we're gonna be doing more of this exploration and archaeology, and to bring this information out to the world. And we'll be probably having new artifacts coming to being showed as we're setting up our own little museum. And yeah, we're gonna try to have more people understand and connect to these, because they seem to be wanting to be birthed back into the world and choosing their like when you're incarnating, choosing your parents, who's going to be a good caretaker.
Yes, for
So
sure.
they can shift around the whole earth to where it's like a hologram where if they don't approve, you might even not ever find these things. So
Well,
you're
at
approved,
the
bring them out.
conference, the ones that he had on the table, it may have been because I was in self-protect mode.
Oh, and don't worry, a lot of these spirits are super skeptical. They were skeptical. They will be skeptical of anyone. So you gotta kind of get them to like you. But
Okay.
uh,
So,
the
so when the artifacts are brought to this summer's conference, that's the same week of July at the same hotel.
Yes.
Brian, we do plug you. The full disclosure now 2025 conference in July in St. Pete, Florida. Um, I'm hoping, assuming that y'all will have artifacts that you bring to be shown.
Well,
maybe.
yeah, I don't know if we would be bringing them because
I didn't know if he was bringing originals or replicas to the
we
conference.
fully original, fully original. Yeah.
It's hard to replicate these, but you can tell the mafia is trying to replicate some of them, whenever you get something super valuable. But yeah,
You can tell.
we dig them up, and
Yeah. We dig them up. The frequency cannot lie.
That's true.
Yeah, there are very specific hints to know when, besides the carbon dating, of course, but there are also very specific hints when you can see whether if they are original or not, because um, there
yeah,
there are techniques.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
There are techniques.
Mike got objects also from the same place. He did carbon dating on them. Some were 1,000, some were 10,000, some were 18,000, some were 19,000 years old. And he also did ones to replicas, and they're around 20 to 50 years old. So you can find out that.
Yeah. Um, Carbon dating, if there's carbon to be dated, can pretty much define for the skeptics.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm glad you're putting together a museum for these objects. They
Thank you.
they deserve their own temple.
Yes. They they deserve to come to the light and be experienced by many people, after so many years
Yeah.
on their earth.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Is as they're being birthed, they get a goal, and if you can help them achieve that goal, they might pick you, or find them. So they're wanting. A lot of them want to bring our civilization past type 1, 0, 1, 2 civilization, and it's like expanding the collective consciousness of everyone. They are really good at breaking you out of matrices and ego boundaries and limitation. And then there are a lot of missions that they upgrade people with. So as they're interacting with more in the audience, they'll connect a network and trade and commerce, and can trade with all of you, supportive energy, and you can bring them things you're really good at, and ability, services, energy that you emit, or what they're good at, and then they'll amplify with the collective consciousness of these ETs from advanced civilizations that found in
Well,
spatial and temporal travel.
these look just absolutely incredible to me. I'm
Thank you.
really happy you're sharing them with us.
Our pleasure. Yes.
They're like our babies, we want them to shine like idols or something. No, 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 like singing idol. Uh, to go on American Idol.
Yeah.
Get out to as many audience as possible, and then they can break people out of this belief limiting cage that we've been in for so long, and start people thinking about what it takes to build an advanced civilization. And I want to see that happen. So thank you for helping us do that.
For them to tell their own story, because they have their own story to tell,
Yeah,
and
obviously
a very unique message for each one of us, so
they're very different. They're unique, and yet they're enough similar to other cultures their age or older that they definitely fit within the earth puzzle, the history that is being hidden. um, that's one of the ways I tell if something belongs here or not, is if it meshes with, not with the story the archaeologists tell, but with the objects they find.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So those are the objects we have for you today. Maybe in another show we'll have more for you after we're done.
Hopefully I'm not coughing and sneezing all through the next one. Thank you for being patient with me about it. Um,
Thank you for doing your best, besides being feeling that way and doing the show with us. So thank you.
It'll be better
Yes,
than healing energy.
I
Um,
try to be professional. I do. Um,
thank you.
um, yeah, it's like
Hmm.
these shows feel important. The guests feel important. It's like this needs to be done. And so I put a lot of my energy into choosing the right guests at the right time. And I'm really honored you guys wanted to come.
thank you
Oh,
for your
thank
honor
you.
yourself.
And we're honored for you to have us. Thank you.
Um, I'm getting to where my voice is
Yeah,
fading
yeah.
badly. So, if you guys want to plug where people can find you and anything you do for money, because I'm sure this trip is not cheap. So go for it.
Thank you. Yes, and after that, you don't need to talk anymore. You'll take care of your voice. So, well, people can find me in my mail, which is www.omnivision.hunuh.com or triple w well, that's my website. This is my website, www.hunuh slash in the middle acna.com. I know it's complicated. Perhaps I can leave the description below this in the comments in this video.
You
And
can give it to me in Messenger and I'll add it to the description.
okay, thank you. Sure. And well, what I do is I'm finishing writing. Well, I have finished writing a book. We'll be publishing it in English, my first book in English, and which talks about the unified consciousness and very specific frequencies that are emitted in beyond, like they operate the DNA. They go beyond the sigils and signatures that have been anchored within our DNA. So then it creates a field that neutralizes those frequencies and restore them to the primordial source, which is part also of the purpose of all this creation, for us to step up and show that sovereignty, you know. And now there is also a plasma body activation that I am doing, an online course, and DNA and time travel or interdimensional travel, which is how to upgrade your DNA while upgrading or traveling through the space-time fabric. And very specific techniques of supercoiling your energy and therefore doing all those upgrades in your DNA. And another one, which is the source code translation of your geometrical body, which is your cosmic fingerprint. And that involves many things related to your soul mission, like the biggest one. And also moving from the barcode that was given to every human holographic vessel and restoring your geometrical body tuned into the geometries of the space-time fabric, therefore creating a field of connection, of interconnectivity at a much higher level. We're doing a trip to Mexico in November. So we have very exciting activities that we will be doing besides the places that we will be visiting, which some of them are renowned. Some of them are very powerful, and due to they are not very renowned, we can actually go into them like Indiana Jones kind of like type of like still going up to the pyramids and going into the temples, which is super powerful. And even you're in the jungle, they're open to the public, but mainly like mostly no one knows about them. We will be going to the place of Gustavo because he's building a very special place to receive people and with all these artifacts. And yeah, just to mention, we will also be going to place of contact, the places that where normally people go to have contact with ETs, with beings of the galactic community.
Yeah. Possible archaeological digs. So hit us up. You can contact us at sanicleague@gmail.com as an easy one, and just do trip inquiry. And if you're interested in the Mexico trips, and um, if you're interested in coming, let us know on that. You're not just signing up for it, so it just lets us know if you're interested, and then we'll give you a whole bunch of information on it, and then you can make your decision. Pyramids, place of power, place of superpower, as we give them what they need to feel safe, and they open up and do more to the collective consciousness in the world and make your life way better. You can meet soul family, love interests. We've had that in the past one for Egypt. So people you're meant to meet and amazing adventures and spiritual interactions, as well as a mystery school will be teaching many abilities. Also do mystery school in my site, membership site. There's a bunch of videos there, and if you're interested in mystery school courses and stuff, we'll be doing that too. So contact us about that. You can also reach me for consultations or clearing healings and depossessions from distances for an individual that can do that, and healings that can reduce pain over a distance and all kinds of issues and emotional issues and whatever you
Um,
want.
I know he can release pain over a distance. He always knows when I'm in bad shape. I get this cryptic, "What's up?" And me being my aspie self, I just blurt it all out. And he says, "Ah, okay." And then in about 10 minutes, I start feeling better. So, yeah.
Yeah, as much as if I can help people that are doing powerful work like you, then it makes a big difference in my world. So thank you for receiving and doing holding big weights on your shoulders and helping humanity and moving us all forward. Honored to help in any way. And anyone out there that has huge gifts, we can unlock your dormant abilities, go into your DNA, your past lives, and go into the candy store that you have, into why you're here and what you have in your DNA, and then bring it out to the world for your greatest purpose. As well, unlock abundance so that you can do more of what you came here to do. Um,
Yeah, about the trip,
The mic.
thank you for the people that asked to ask for information about the trip. Thank you also for your patience. We are getting like a good amount of emails, and we are getting the final details of the information to the trip. So also, if you're really interested, you perhaps might want to already send your application or ask for it, because we won't be opening a big group, because we like to take care in a good way for the people that is coming, and the places that we are going in the way that we are going requires from a very specific way to handle it. So we will be taking care of big time for so that you can have the best experience, you know. So yeah, that's why if you're interested, just feel like send to us that email so that we can consider your place in the
yeah,
trip.
I'll add you to the email list for all the future trips too, and where else you'd want to go in sacred places. So, Penny, how do people reach you and get a hold of you?
Uh, my fresh work is on odyssey.com. Uh, the channel name is NACT Waffen Pilot, spelled German. And I have an archive on Rumble. I have a new Substack, and it's not simply SSP. I've been doing some political stuff there too. I'm on X as at Pennywinkle, and I'm on Facebook, Penny Bradley .522, I think. I've been on Facebook a lot longer, but they permabanned me in 2019 and I had to start over. Who knew being SSP would get you in trouble with the platform? uh,
Well, yeah, but we don't want you talking a lot, because you have already, like shared with us a lot, even before going even
Yeah.
record before recording. So you really need to take care of your throat.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
send you healing.
Yes.
Recommend also pronouncing your or your palm chakra, and then doing a little hug, and then just holding your
Both
throat.
hands.
Like this.
I do. Yeah, yeah. You can do the ring finger. It can be any finger if you want, but it's just pressing the button. I do that so I can type and do other stuff. Or you can just like hold like with a hug your throat, and you can put a bag of ice in a uh and under a towel so that it doesn't freeze you, and then put it near and it amplifies how you suck away negative energy and attachment, while also you're trying to make this star in your palm chakra of healing grow bigger and generate more healing energy. And that will make it so
Oh,
that the pain or anything negative sensations go away.
I will also send to you a frequency to clear out your throat. I do this with Sean, and when he's going through something, and it helps him.
well, this hit about a week after we had that weird fog here. I'm high enough elevation, we don't get fog. And it was a warm day, not a cold one. And so it was a warm fog. It was very dry and
Hmm.
smelled funny,
Hmm.
smelled chemical.
Hmm.
And I started getting sick after that. So did Lou. We tried the ivermectin and it helped, and then it didn't. And so we took it for 5 days, and uh, it cleared up everything except the throat and the
Hmm.
cough.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Then healing. Yeah, so we want to make you talk too long. So thank you so much for having us on the show.
Thank you.
And for everyone out there, is inspirational words. Yeah, don't let things don't let
You
things
guys are
silent
cute.
you. Bring things out. These you might end up finding things like this. They seem to be all over the place in different countries, but there's a lot deep underground for us to uncover and think forbidden archaeology that's hidden, and we can break through the disclosure together and bring this out to the world and make it a better place and evolve the species. And there's so much deep within you too, and these can reflect what's inside you and empower you with your dormant superpowers that make everything in your life better. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us, and thank you for everything that you are doing. And yeah, let's continue on digging and bringing to light all that information, all those codes that we came here to share with humanity. Some of them manifest through this artifact, some of them manifest just by being. So, yeah, let's keep on building stronger and stronger this network of support and coherence because
Um, for the
humanity needs it.
for the audience, I will be sharing this recording with Sean and Isa, so it will be on their channels too. And for my guys and everybody else, thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. It was beautiful.